And welcome back, or should I say, welcome back to another episode of the Troyism podcast, brought to you by Brother Troy Shabbat. Now, just bullshit. I kid. Welcome back, man. Welcome back, Tribe. That's what I named y'all. I hope you know that. I named you Tribe, like Troyism, but Tribe, because everything. Like every group of supporters have to have a name. So, or just I think by saying Tribe, it can be a good catch-all. Like we could catch everybody. But anyway, what's up, Tribe? Welcome back to Troyism. So, as you can see, this is the Halloween edition. Halloween, I love Halloween. Halloween is Christmas is actually my favorite holiday, but Halloween is a close second. Something special about Halloween. My grandmother actually passed away on Halloween of 2017. Yep, 2017. I had just moved here actually. But it was very appropriate for her to pass on Halloween, just because my grandmother loved holidays. So, like for every holiday, her house was decorated. I mean, Christmas was of course the big thing, but she had stuff, decorations for Easter in her attic. She had Halloween. For Halloween was pretty big too. Halloween was up there with Christmas. Halloween, she would take the pumpkin trash bags and have us put leaves in them and fill them up. So it was like double duty. Like, yeah, you have these big pumpkin bags in your front yard, but you also got the yard work done. So, yeah, man. So this show is special. It's special because it's Halloween, but it's special also because, like I said, my grandmother passed on Halloween, and she loved holidays. So, like I said, if there was any other better time to go, her leaving on a holiday was kind of like God showing that she was probably one of his favorites. Rest in peace, Granny. Miss you, love you, and clearly keeping the traditions going because here we are. I'm getting my Black Panther on for y'all tonight. If you know me, you've seen this Afro wig a few times. Anytime it's a disco party, a '70s party, or whatever party, if I can a hippie party, if I can work this Afro wig in, I'm working it because it's a good one. It's a good Afro wig. It kind of got a Bobby DeBarge feel. Rest in peace, Bobby DeBarge. Due to knowledge. Shout out to Grits and Eggs. But I sound like a disc jockey, right? Oh, due to knowledge. Shout out to Grits and Eggs. Like if you're down with the lingo, then you're down with the lingo. I don't know who that was, but anyway, welcome to the show. You know what? Let's do some quick hits, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll get into our stories. And stay tuned. We might have some surprises for Halloween. We'll see. But I'm feeling the Black Panther. Shout out to the Black Panthers. Shout out to the Black Panthers for feeding the community and protecting the community. Their original cause and their original plight was taking care of the black community at a time when this country did not want to take care of us, and even more probably targeted us more so than any form of help at that point. So shout out to the Black Panther Party, who were demonized at some points in history, and later vindicated, because the truth is the truth. And so thank God for history being preserved for them. So tonight, this costume is to, of course, honor them and give them their flowers, or pay homage rather to those who fought for us before we even took our first breath. So shout out to the Black Panthers. But anyway, let's get into some quick stories. So let's see what happened. I know this show that. Oh, let me go back. That's why this show is coming to you later, because I also wanted it to drop on Halloween because it's a Halloween show. But then also, the my granny part, so it's all kind of like baked in there. But anyway, I just wanted to double back and add that as to why you're not getting it on your normal Tuesday, because I know I posted that the show would be pushed back this week. So I just kind of wanted to give you a little background on that. But let's get into these quick stories so we can get into the big stories, so then we can later get into the friendly reminders. That's the order of the show. So first, of course, the hip hop community had a peak and a valley this week. So I'll start with the peak. The peak was the Verzuz battle, which of course was made famous during the pandemic. I mean, definitely kept us entertained with like DJ D Nice and his club Renaissance, not Renaissance. Beyonce, get out of my head. Club Random or Club Pandemic, Club COVID. I don't know what it was called. Club something. We used to be there every night, streaming every night with DJ D Nice. But anyway, quite like that. Of course, the versus battles were born during the pandemic as well. Well, this week we saw a matchup we've been kind of wanting forever. Like it could have been one of the first verses, but I'm glad we got it. It came in a timely manner. Cash Money versus No Limit, and for me, everybody's talking about a winner, who won, who did this, but I think it's kind of clear, or the message is resonating that No Limit pretty much took this one as far as the song selection and crowd energy and stuff like that. But all in all, I won because Cash Money, No Limit. Again, I'm from the South, so though they're huge. I mean, even back to like expanded to like Webby and Boosie and shoot all the way over to Atlanta with Gucci. Like just the South in general. But No Limit and then later Cash Money being those pillars like of the South, and more importantly for Louisiana, and even more importantly for New Orleans. So I won from that versus because my whole CD case, and I had one of them CD books like when if you were born in the 1900s, you had a CD book, and then you had the visor with the CDs over it and stuff like that. So anyway, Cash Money, No Limit. The standouts, of course, for Cash Money, it was Juvie. Juvie showed up and gave Juvie almost going into vampire territory. Juvie looked good. I mean, I don't want to say that though. Juvie has aged, but he's aged well, and he's aged even more so into that character of who we know Juvenile to be, and he showed up and gave us that. So shout out to that. That's a show. I will go to that show. On the No Limit side, clearly socials have already confirmed, so I'm just double, triple, quadrupling down. Mia X showed up and showed out. I mean, some people on socials are even saying, she carried that No Limit versus on her back. But yeah, shout out to all of No Limit. Shout out to all of Cash Money. I know Mercedes from No Limit was a little disgruntled. I think they worked that out, so I'm not even going to unpack what that was about. It's come full circle. It was a discrepancy. Looks like it's been buttoned up or handled or being taken care of. I just want to shout Mercedes out. Loved her, a part of No Limit as well. So just showing love to everybody involved. That was good. It was good. What other stories do we have that are quick? Well, not necessarily quick, but I just wanted to take time to acknowledge and send thoughts and prayers and eventually some form of support to those affected by Hurricane Melissa that made landfall in Jamaica, or in the Caribbean rather, at a Category 5 with 100+ mile winds. So yeah, just thinking of everybody in Jamaica. We haven't seen the full toll or full fallout from that yet, but just know that our thoughts and prayers are with you, and I will be either on my socials or somewhere. We'll be linking aid for everyone, just so if you want to reach out and contribute what you can. Although do not feel pressure to contribute, because I'll get into the stories of stuff going on in this country, which I'm pretty sure we're all feeling to some degree at this point. But either way, if you can help, I'll find a way to put links either in this video or direct you to the socials. Either way, let's do what we can to support and not let the media light not shine on what's happening in the Caribbean and in Jamaica, because we know sometimes when it comes to the browner nations, the global media lens tends to turn the other way. So let's make sure that we're using our voices and our platforms responsibly to shed light on all of the humanitarian aid needed across the globe. All right, cool. Oh, right on, right on. Stay in character. Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll get into some. Oh man, I was trying to do something cool for like the Black Panthers, but I couldn't figure it out. I failed. Damn it. I'll fix it later in the show. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. and welcome back to the Troyism podcast. I am Troy, and so let's continue. It's so weird. Like it's so weird one doing it, but it's also so weird doing it in a room like by yourself. But anyway, it feels like a self tape because I'm a trained actor, but it feels like a self tape or like an audition because it's kind of like you're punching up those cues, but it's like there's no one to receive them. But anyway, so before we move forward, I want to go back a little bit on that Verzuz too, and just kind of do a little plug in. And so I was saying about Cash Money, and then of course No Limit. Of course in the South, or I mean globally. I'm not trying to play this, but I'm just saying because it comes from the South, it's more connected. Kind of like I say, I feel more connected to Erykah Badu than most people because we're from the same city, the same neighborhood type shit. But anyway, so with the Verses though, one of my connections is actually No Limit was my first concert. Uh, Tagging along with my big cousin, Buddy. I'll just say your nickname. Hey, Buddy. Uh, Tagging along. I don't even know if you remember this, Buddy, but I know Buddy watches or Buddy watches the clips for sure. Um, and so I was tagging along with my big cousin, who was about 3 or 4 years older than me. But tagged along with my big cousin to the No Limit Summer Jam, 90, maybe it was seven, no later than 98. It was 97 or 98. But yeah, man, it was a good time. It was my first one. I remember what I had on. I had on a Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt, the one with the big red, white, and blue, the cheapest one you could afford. And then I had on some Tommy Hilfiger jeans. And I think if it serves me correctly, I want to say I may have had on some Carl Kanai sneakers. Yeah, I think I may have had on some because Carl Kanai had some white and navy blue leather sneakers. Damn, whew, I just unlocked the memory. But anyway, No Limit Summer Jam. That was the first time I saw Mercedes. She performed "It's Your Thing" or "Do What You Want to Do." Hey, look, I don't care what your walk of life journey is. Look that up. I wonder if that's on socials or on YouTube or on the internet somewhere. Look up Mercedes. It's your thing. It's a play on the Isley Brothers. It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can't tell you. Who the socket do? But yeah. So yeah, but anyway, shout out to No Limit again. My first concert experience, and a damn good one, man. It was a good time. But anyway, so let's transition. I just wanted to go back and kind of share that memory with you guys. But going forward, let's get into when I take these deep exhales, I'm about to switch gears. Uh, so let's talk about what's going on in our country. And so at this point, I know if you're on socials, any of them, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, you kind of know what the big discussion is right now in our country. And it's that due to the government shutdown, effective November 1st, um, a lot of people will be losing or not getting their SNAP and EBT benefits. And so, because of that, a lot of people face food insecurity, and that's a big deal on any day, but especially as we go into the holiday season. They say somewhere between I guess 1 to 42 million uh, people who are on the SNAP and EBT programs right now stand to not receive their benefits for the month of November. That's devastating. That's very devastating, and we've gotten pretty far. Like we've gotten pretty far with this thing. While this is not the longest government shutdown on record, which is 35 days, which is owned by Trump's first term, looks like we're probably going to get into that territory. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's a way we can turn this thing around, and the progressives of each party can kind of bring this wedge together. I mean, I understand why, the Democrats are standing their ground. As I've said in previous shows, I think that that's the right thing to be doing. Um, So I'm not hoping anyone caves. I'm just hoping that both sides have the wherewithal to at least come together for their constituencies, if not for one another's cause. In addition to that, I'm gonna expound on this story a little bit more, and just talk about this is the time and this is the point where all of those good things we talk about in society and all those things that make us American and all those things that bring us together, the things like I said in the last show, we have far more in common than we don't. This is the time when that stuff is put to point, or proven rather. And so like shout out to Dr. Reverend Dr. I think he's a doctor. I think he's a Reverend Doctor. I'm gonna call him Reverend Doctor. His mama name is Reverend Doctor. I'm gonna call him Reverend Doctor. Reverend Doctor Jamal Bryant, who is most notably famous, or most recently famous, because of kind of supporting and championing and spearheading somewhat the charge to boycott Target because of their eradication of their DEI programs. And so we see that now, which I'll be talking about Target actually up next. Ironically, they have a story tonight. Well, they're a part of a larger story. But so Reverend Jamal Bryant has told his congregation of his church, don't bring tithes, bring food, bring canned goods, bring non-perishable items, bring things like that. Now, Christians, you know, I was on your head last week about parenting. This week I'm gonna be on your head about just, you know, living up to the word of the good book. This is the time, Christians. This is the cornerstone of what religion and Christianity used to mean and used to serve benefit in the black community. This was when the church was the cornerstone for activism. We met, you know, this was the point when the black church stood for unity, and we came together and we pulled our resources together because we had a doctor that was a member of the church, and we had a nurse, and then we had a school teacher, and then we had someone who, you know, press and comb the kids' head for Easter, and we had somebody's son Junior who cut hair out the garage on the weekends, and this person's son cut grass, and you know, he give you a good rate on it. This is the core, and this is the ethos of what the black church used to be in the black community. And so I posted this earlier on socials, but I said I feel like society is getting a reset, for better or worse. And I think this is one of those moments where, while the fight is happening at the federal level, which it should continue, and there should be common sense, reasonable negotiations on both sides, this is the time where Americans and these religious communities and these marginalized communities and just these smaller communities in general, it really doesn't even matter what color you are, come together, and you look out for people, and you make sure that people have what they need, and you make sure people aren't starving, and you make sure that we get through this rough time together. That's what these times are about. And so shout out to Dr. Jamal Bryant, or Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant. I gave this man a whole degree. I'm pretty sure he has one. If he doesn't, I just gave you one, so I'll print it out. And I'll send around Giselle. What? That's messy. Anyway, Troy, move on. Anyway, Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for leading the charge, because that's what that's supposed to be. That is supposed to be him leading the charge, not being the only one to do it. So all of the pastors who keep their hand out asking for money and $1,000 and $2,000 donations, also ask for canned goods. Also ask for non-perishables. You know what? Let's just fucking hunker down. Let's start asking for first aid kits. Let's start making sure that the people of our communities and our congregations are really taken care of and really looked out for. This is how you build community. This is how you maintain community. This is how you establish community if you don't have it. So it's time to pull together. It's time to pull together. There will be people who will be hungry. There will be people who will need resources. I posted a video. There were federal workers in line crying. These are people with jobs. They were just furloughed because of the federal government shutdown. And, you know, at the end of the day, that even dispels the whole notion around a good county job or a good federal job. You know, you get too high up in the bureaucrats, and those jobs don't even hold their weight on paper or down to the grocery store, you know? So the idea or concept of a good government job or a good, you know, When it's good, it's good. But when it's not, you're in the food bank line. And that wasn't a dig. That was a reality check for all of us. So we need to pull together and we need to help out where we can. And I'll find a way to add some stuff or some resources or find something for you guys and put it here at least as a start if it's not even what you end up doing. But yeah, and not just for Thanksgiving and not just for the government shutdown. We need to carry this into the holiday season as well as into 2026. I don't see these times drastically improving anytime soon. So we have to act like that and we have to start living in the reality of the world we live in. The world where people are falling behind on car notes, the reality of people falling behind on credit card debt, people's credit scores are going up. Electricity bills are higher than they've been in recent years. Inflation is whooping our ass at every kick and turn. You can't turn a corner without it costing at least $10. So we are in that pot together cooking. I don't care if you're honestly, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. The only difference between Democrat and Republicans now is Republicans have to be quiet about it because their party is pretty much preventing this from going away. And that's just the reality of it. I'm not even gonna like straddle the fence on that. So they have to be quiet because they have to toe the line. So they're actually suffering in silence, walking around smiling like they're happy and sticking to them and get these. They're feeling it. Trust me. Because when all that stuff I just reported, the credit bureaus and the car loan companies, they don't have a bipartisan spreadsheet where they're looking at the number of Democrats falling behind and the number of Republicans falling behind. No, everybody's falling behind with a social security number. An American, they are falling behind. They're not doing this by party. They're doing this by American, and Americans are falling behind financially. And the recovery is going to be virtually impossible with AI creeping up because remember, we were told, we were sold that it was immigrants taking the job and it was immigrants putting you out of work and it was these people coming from these foreign lands ruining your opportunities, right? Turns out it was iRobot and Will Smith was right all along. Look at us now. We're staring at the wall and it's coming through the computer screen. Congratulations, America, with your 6th grade reading level education. We suck, bro. We suck. We suck tough. But yeah, so we got to do what we got to do. We have to look out for one another. I'm going to keep saying it. I know I've said it like 6 times, but I'm going to keep saying it until it sticks. We have to look out for each other. This holiday season, if you can afford to adopt a family, if you can afford to invite people over, I don't want to lead into my next story, but if you can afford to do these things, you need to do these things. Actually, I'm going to just use that as a segue. Because people are losing their jobs. People are being laid off. And it's not just the government shutdown. It's the private sector. You have Target who just laid off 1,000 people at their corporate level, and then they canceled their 800 current job openings. So that's pretty much a total of 1,800 jobs. Wouldn't be a show without a double decker. I don't know. That's almost becoming like my little like lucky charm, right? I don't know. I think if I don't, have a little bit of a belch during the show, it may be, although I'm drinking this grown folks juice. It's not as strong as it looks though. It's very weak. That's Coke Zero. Just something to give you the fuzzies, nothing crazy. But yeah, so like I was saying, transitioning into people are losing their jobs and they're losing them in the private sector. And it's not even specific to one industry. You have corporate retailers, like I said, Target, Amazon laying off a ton of people. It's 14,000 plus. The latest report or the latest cut, I think is 14,000, but I think that adds to an overall total of maybe 30,000. I'm not sure. And they're just blatantly saying they found more efficient ways to do the job. AI. Like a lot of their warehouse work, they found more efficient ways to do it. And so they don't want to pay people because machines don't need sick time and machines don't need promotions and annual reviews. Machines just need engineers. and maintenance and what am I trying to say? IT and tech support. That's what I'm trying to say. Tech support. They need those people. Well, at this point, they may create an AI program to solve the problem that they create. Who knows? Like I said, a good job just kind of doesn't exist anymore. You just, you show up and do what they pay you to do until they tell you to not do it anymore. But yeah, there are thousands. We are hemorrhaging jobs left and right. And my fear is that these are jobs that will not come back. This is not just some economic downturn where it's like a regular recession where we've had a housing crisis or something like that, or an auto industry crisis. That's not that. These jobs are getting the hell out of here and they are not coming back. This is more of an industrial revolution than it is a recession. It's sprinkled with, recession and depression. But ultimately, it's an industrial revolution. And so we need to start acting like it's an industrial revolution. These two, your hands. Find something you can do with your hands. Be it fix. Sorry, Dallas. I'll say fix hair. Fix her. Fix her. Her. Can I say that? Yeah, fix her. Whether you can style hair, or whether you can cut hair, or you can garden, or you can do whatever, play an instrument, whatever you can do with your hands, or whatever trade or skill. You can fix cars, or you can fix everything. Fix hair, fix cars, fix. If you can swing a door, that's construction. Yeah, we got a lot of southern, colloquialisms, I guess. But yeah, if you can do any of that stuff, now is the time to do any of that stuff, or definitely lean into doing any of that stuff. Because we don't really know how this automation thing is going to go. You got to think about it. One day somebody went to work about over 100 years ago. Somebody went to work and they were in there cranking and shafting those elevators and to getting people to floor 3 all the way up to floor 9 and then back down to floor 2. And then one day they walked in there and there was a man with a little box hat on and he pushed the button. That was it. And he was really just tech support because the thing worked on his own. He was just there just in case it didn't work. He could get in there and get the switching gears again. But eventually, we don't even need him anymore. When's the last time you got on the elevator and saw someone pressing the button, unless it's like some doorman at a very nice apartment? But you know what I'm saying. Or a hotel. Now, they don't even push them in hotels anymore. We used to be a proper country. We've lost our class. We have lost our class. Yeah, we've lost our class. Remember the days of like Dynasty? I don't even know what the economy was like then, but remember the days of Dynasty, like the 80s? Like those people were living the life. Like even if you were living below the poverty line, they still were living. I don't want to say they were living nice because I don't want to belittle or diminish what people went through in the 80s. But what I will say is like even the hood, like a lot of the hip hop style that is still carried on today was born in that era. Like the Dapper Dans, and that's what I'm speaking to. The Dapper, like even though we didn't have, we still put that shit on and made it look good. That's what I'm saying. It was just an era of doing whatever you needed to do to look and feel good when you stepped outside your place. You know what I'm saying? We don't, and that was an extension of good customer service, and people took pride in their jobs, and people, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a different time. Like people just kind of just had a little more pride and a little more self-esteem about the stuff they did. I don't know what, even when people were struggling, like I said, if you take it back to the hood and the Dapper Dans and the building of culture and what's known now as culture, back then it was subculture or niche culture, but now it's the culture, I don't know. We've just escaped from that, and I've kind of escaped from my topic a little bit too. But right now, back to my topic. Just it's that time where we're in it. I think I want to start framing it as that, and less of a recession and depression and economic downturn, and more of an industrial revolution. I think if we frame it as an industrial revolution, then we'll understand the weight of what's happening. It's not just money's funny. It's the whole concept and idea of how we make money and how we accomplish things is changing. Not even is changing. Has changed. Is changing in real time. And so I think we have to start living in that reality, because I think if we only frame this as an economic downturn or a recession, then there's some hope that we're holding out that it will return at some point, and that's just not the reality. So yeah, man, yeah, man. Um, whew. Just first, oh, and last thing before we go to break, and we'll come back with friendly reminders. Uh, to anybody who's experiencing any type of layoff or furlough or government shutdown or just out of work, unemployed, underemployed, because a lot of people are doing, in this gig economy, a lot of people are doing whatever they got to do to make ends meet. Just know that, coupled in with we're approaching rapidly into seasonal depression season, because life's just so fucking perfect. Like when it rains, it pours. But what I want to offer to you, I don't have a cure or a fix or anything. I just kind of want you to know that you are not alone. So even if you're in a room like I am right now by myself alone, I want you to know that your experience that you feel is not singular, in that it's only happening to you. You're only feeling the effects of what you feel, but we're all feeling something. Trust me. We're all even the people who are rich and acting like they don't feel anything, they notice that even in the wealth that they still can spend, the energy, the environment around it, they is not the same. And so we all feel it to a degree, and you're not alone. And if the loneliness of your situation is overwhelming or overcoming you, reach out to someone, because you're gonna find out that you're not alone. Or hell, get on Twitter and go to the Unusual Well page and just see that everything around you is falling. So if you feel like you're slipping and you're falling, it's because it's the environment that you're in. And so that doesn't necessarily fix the problem, but it does let you know it's far more of us in that space with you than just you by yourself. So I just wanted to make sure I said that, because I know seasonal depression is a thing and it happens seasonally, and we're headed into one, but we're headed into one already under very, very tense circumstances. We've had a lot go on in the last 10 months of this year. And so I just kind of want you to know, even though it's a shit show, we're all in the shit show and we're all covered in shit, which is gross. So let's take a break and clean some of that shit off, and we'll be back with friendly reminders. Oh shit, I almost forgot. But before we go, let's have a word from our sponsor. Sorry, I'm new to this. Sorry. Let's have a word from our sponsor. Thanks.
Ain't and they ain't saying nothing. 100 motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. I bees in the trap, bees in the trap. I bees in the.
All right. Welcome back. Yeah. I bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Thanks, Uncle Sam. Y'all know I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's my favorite actor. I love Samuel L. Jackson. So the fact that wait. I love Samuel L. Jackson and I love Nicki Minaj. Some of my friends would say I'm a barb, but I probably am. I love Nicki Minaj. But anyway, and I hold space for Nicki Minaj, so watch your mouth. But yeah, Samuel L. Jackson and Nicki Minaj. So I love them both. So the fact that I could put both of them together for Halloween is like perfect for me. And I don't know, this pink wig got powers. I don't know. I'm ready to go get my baddie chain, huh? Ooh, watch it fall. Ooh. Boom, give him one eye. Yeah, that's that Faith Evans. Give him one eye. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing. I'm getting too carried away. I'm not getting carried away. Actually, it's hot as shit. So I'm gonna get through this segment as quick as possible so I can remember them girls used to do what was this? Why anyway. All right, so let's get through this part so I can get out of this hot ass wig. But yeah, a little $20 shake and go. Shout out to, I'm not even gonna say, shout out to that company that's laying all those people off and replacing them with robots, inhumane people. But anyway, let's move on. So, of course, we've gotten to the second part or last part of our show, which we know by now, Tribe, is friendly reminders. So let's go ahead and get into those, and then I'll get you out of here so you can enjoy your Halloween. So first up, friendly reminder: take ownership of your life, because after all, it has your name all over it. And what that means for me is, and I used to tell my team this. I used to have a team when I worked in healthcare in Houston, and I used to always say this thing to them, which was go hard for anything that has your name on it. Like anything that is attached to your name, give it your best. Which is why I kind of feel like I'm becoming a boomer or becoming like the older generation, because I just walk, like even if I walk into like a fast food place or a retail place, it felt like there used to be a sense of pride or a sense of wanting to do a good job. And now it just feels, and I'm not blaming this on any specific generation, because as you know, retail space is no longer the 16-year-old job. It's everybody. Like I said, we live in a gig economy. So it's not generally speaking to one generation. It's more about the ideology of our society right now is people just aren't very kind. That's why I always thread through be kind. And I always draw a distinction between being nice and being kind. Because I feel, in my opinion, being nice is kind of like being fake, kind of phoning it in, kind of doing what society deems as being pleasant or being accommodating or things like that. And I don't think you have to do that. I don't think you have to do that. I think you should be moved and want to do that. And I think that's where kindness comes in. Kindness comes in for me in the sense of I show up in the world how I want the world to show up for me. And that doesn't mean I overexert myself to go out of my way for someone. But if I have something within my power, or if I have something within my control where I can benefit someone or enrich someone, I'm gonna do it, especially if it costs me nothing. Especially if it costs me nothing. It can even cost me something, but especially if it costs me nothing, I will, inconvenience, especially if it's just like an inconvenience of time or something like that. Because on the other side of that, if you've ever, done charity or you've ever lent your time to someone else, you always feel better on the other side of lending your time to someone else. I wouldn't even say, of course, again, I'm very, as I said earlier, I'm very on the fence about, giving people things to say it cures depression or it cures, moods like, when you're feeling down. But what I will say is what worked for me when I have those moments, or when I've had those moments in the past, is getting out of my head space about what's going on in my life and do something for someone else. Because even if it's just an escape for a few hours, it's worth it on the other side, because one, it pulls you out of your problems, and two, you enrich someone else's life. So bringing it back to the main friendly reminder, anything with your name attached to it, go hard for it, because you never know who's watching it, and you never know who holds your next opportunity by watching it. You could be in food service. You could work at a fast food chain and do such a good job and be so attentive and be so kind that someone from, I want to say corporate America, but it's crumbling at this point. But someone from where you aspire to go could be there on their lunch break, and they admire the way you handled yourself, and the way, especially, you know what? It's kind of like a hack. At this point in life, it's kind of like cheat code, because customer service has fallen so far that if you show up, honestly, doing the bare minimum, but if you go above and beyond and give superior customer service, you stand out leaps and bounds. It's actually easier to succeed right now with regard to that, because the bar is so low for being kind to one another right now. We put everybody in the red and the blue box, or we put everybody in the straight or the gay box, or we put everybody in the religious antichrist box. So we put people in all these different boxes, and it creates barriers for us treating them with common humanity, or common decency is what I'm trying to say. So actually, it's a cheat code to be kind right now, because it's in such short supply. People are responding to it even more positively than when we had a little bit more of it. So hey, kindness may be the key. Kindness may be your cheat code. Moving right along. Friendly reminder: if advocating for yourself makes people uncomfortable, then know that it's always, I want to say this right. If advocating for yourself means that you upset people, then you need to keep doing it because it means it's necessary. If saying, hey, I'm hurting, hey, this isn't right for me, hey, I'm being overlooked, hey, my group is marginalized and we're not getting what we need, or we're being marginalized or oppressed through marginalization, no one's ever going to give you permission to defend yourself. That's an action you take on your own behalf. And so what I'll say to you is always, always, always advocate for yourself. If there's a question you want to ask that question. Now, timing is always key. Don't ask questions if it's not the question portion, but always find a way to get your point and set your intention. One of my previous bosses or regional directors told me, and it stuck with me because while it packed a little punch, the phrase had a little fortitude to it. It also carried something about self-esteem and pride. And he just simply said, impose your will. Impose your will. Like that's a very, like to me, that's a very, it still kind of like takes me back a little bit. I'll be like, oh, wait. But it's like, impose your will. Like, go out into the universe, set out what you want, make it known what you want, work for what you say you want, and go after what you want. And, I could speak to, society and how it's set up or anything like that. But this isn't about that. This is about becoming one with your thoughts, becoming one with your actions, and becoming one with the idea that you want more, or you've set a goal and you're going to achieve it. So, I'm going to pass that on to you because it stuck with me when he said it. But impose your will. Impose your will. Whatever that looks like, impose your will. And finally, for friendly reminders, get these hair. Oh man, I don't know how y'all do it with these hairs. Well, I'm sure y'all hair not synthetic. I'm sure this is, if I sit under these lights for too long, this will probably start melting on my head or melting to my head. What is this little girl trying to do? It's always got to be a Beyonce, right? There's always a Beyonce in the group. Like everybody else is bobbed down. Look, bob, 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 bob down. Look at little Beyonce. Any other day I will call, you would say. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, it's always a little Beyonce that's gonna stand out. But hey, who run the world? So finally, I'm sorry, Flyaways turned into a whole diatribe about Beyonce. Anyway, finally, friendly reminder: decide what resistance looks like for you, because the oppressors are fit to match. I'll say that again. Decide what resistance looks like for you, because your oppressors are fit to match. So what fit to match means, it means that they're equipped and prepared and ready for the next step, whatever the next step may be. These people are not playing with us. They are not playing with us in the least. And it doesn't even matter who's leading the charge at this point. Some people are like, oh, this is Trump, or oh, he's just a puppet, or he's the Trojan horse. It really doesn't matter. We're feeling it all the same. And whoever's doing it, if he's not, they're doing it in his name. So it really doesn't matter. What does matter is they are twisting the screws. They tried to create the public civil discourse around Charlie Kirk, and they tried to create the discourse around black versus white and immigrants and all. They wanted to create that. They juiced up their bots on social medias because they wanted us to engage and fight and this. And the only thing and the thing about it was, yeah, we took to the social media streets for a little bit, but eventually people are seeing, hey, yeah, I could fight these people on the left. I could fight these people on the right, but I would much rather fight for the things I'm lacking, like affordable housing, like steady employment without the threat of being replaced by R2D2. The basic necessities, living in a safe community, living in a community where I'm not fearful to walk down the street. Now, I know that, that has been propagandized by those on the right, but it is a very real threat. Everybody wants to be safe in their communities across the board. Propaganda aside, everybody wants to feel safe and be able to walk down the block in their respective neighborhoods. So That didn't work. So they thought, the social discord and juicing up the bots was going to get us all riled up and angry with one another to where we're going to be taken to the streets and burning things down and doing things like that. And that didn't work. And then they thought, on the heels of what happened to Charlie Kirk, that this would outrage the right enough to be vigilante and take to the streets. And ultimately, none of this stuff has worked. And I'll tell you why. Because again, that through line of what I said, we have more in common, for better or worse, than our differences. And right now, unfortunately, our commonality is that we're all moving into some position of struggle at the hands of the United States government. We're having to pay taxes for a quality of life that we still have to go home and worry about and figure out on our own. That's what's happening. And that's happening on the right, and that's happening on the left, and that's happening in the center of right and left, or whatever you want to call it. It's happening everywhere for everyone in all of these political buckets. And so people are too consumed with trying to keep a roof over their head, clothes on their kids, food on the damn table, to be out in the street fighting some ideological. Oh, that's a big, wait. Ideological. I don't know. Is that how you say ideological? Feels clunky. Either way, these people don't want to be out in the street fighting for ideals that were backed and pushed by a politician. Ideological. I think that's right. It's just real clunky. But I think ideological. It feels right. Well, it feels clunky. Anyway, taken to the streets, fighting for the ideals of politicians and ideals of agendas and ideals of super PACs and lobby. Like, yeah, we can do that when shit is even kill. But right now, we are plummeting. We are plummeting to the basement, and not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not as independents. We are plummeting to the basement as Americans collectively. And so no one has time to fight when they have to worry about fighting food insecurity. So I just want to say across the board, and don't get me wrong, I am not absolving anything that is taking place on the right, because it's abhorrent and it's disgusting, and it just shows how low in humanity we can go when we feel like we have to win or we have to assume power. So I'm not letting you off the hook. But what I am saying is there is a commonality in that we are being pitted against one another, seemingly by our own government, to give them license to justify to further oppress us collectively. Because I'm telling you, if everybody shows up to the Civil War in the streets, they're not going to come out and ask for voter registration cards. They're going to beat everybody's ass. They're going to lock everything down, and they're going to control all of us even more. One side, again, will just have to be silent about it. So I said all of that to say, in my pinked out bob wig, dressed like Samuel L. Jackson, because I bees in the trap. I said all that to say, I know we do this political dance, and I know we're gearing up to do more of a political dance as we head into midterms, because midterms are very different. Midterms are kind of like, let's speak in retail terms. The midterms are like the soft launch of the store for what's going to happen in 28. We will know how 28 will look by what happens in 26 for the midterms. So I'll just say to everyone, we have to figure out how to work together on the things we agree on and table the things we don't. And by tabling the things we don't, it means that we not only not use them as political propaganda, but also we don't create systems or further add to those divides. Like, we have to put a pin in our divides if we're going to get through this. Like, that's it. We'll have to put a pin in our divides if we want to get through this. But putting a pin means that we don't use those trigger words and those dog whistles and all that shit that keeps us apart. We can fight about that another day. Excuse me, Beyonce. We can fight about that another day. But what I will say is, like I said, I feel like society is resetting itself for better or worse. But I feel like as we rebuild this, we will have to rebuild this anew, because we are seeing right now the systems of old are not working. And not only are they not working, they're crumbling. And I think the harsher reality is we're actually living in a time to see not only everything that we thought we built be torn down, but also the realization that because the system we thought we built didn't work, what system can we build that won't fail at some point? And I think that's the question that I think the visionaries and the people who think into the future and think generationally, I think that is the bigger question. What do we, if this can be broken, this 250-year institution can be dismantled, I mean, not completely. I don't want to, use hyperbole here. I want to speak factually, but if we can see a drastic undoing in 10 months of what took 250 years to build and work on and ratify and amend, then what do we build and how do we build it to make sure that this doesn't happen again, or at least not for another 250 years, right? We'll be gone. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. Just something for you to ponder. Shit is real, man. And I say that every show, and every show I feel like it's realer than it was before I said it. Like, it's government furlough, but it's private sector jobs, it's government programs, it's government shutdowns, it's I didn't even get to this because we have so much. I'll talk about it next show, I promise. I want to do a full story on it. But what the play they're trying to set up with the Supreme Court to repeal marriage equality, and how certain governors have been already given dog whistles, like the state of Texas, where they're already giving judges the carte blanche. The Texas Supreme Court ruled that they're giving judges the carte blanche, or the freedom to decide whether they want to marry same-sex couples. At this point, the Supreme Court hasn't even heard that argument yet on the case of marriage equality. But these red state governors are already dog whistling their courts and their Supreme Courts and giving them the discretion to whether they want to honor it or not. So yeah, we're watching this shit like fall apart. So we have to think about what it's going to look like on the other side. We will get to the other side. That's the hope I want to leave you with. We will get to the other side of this. We have to survive it. We have to everybody who always used to do the "we ain't our ancestor" shit, welcome to the ancestor party, because we're at a place right now where what you say and what you do matters a lot, because it can put a target on your back. But in addition to that, it can affect things negatively in a reality to where a community like the Black community and other marginalized community may not be able to so readily recover. So we do have to mind our words, not be afraid. We ain't on no scary shit, but we do have to be strategic in the sense of we hold no collective power at this point in history. And so we have to be strategic, not docile. We have to be strategic. And so welcome to the ancestor party, where you have to think about what you do and the effects of what you do having. Also, we're going to touch on next show. I know we're going kind of long on this one, but also next show, we're going to touch on the deafening silence of celebrities. The celebrities who are always loud, always asking for money, always asking for you to support their art, support their work, support their business, support their tech startup, support these big public figures that we look to and we see at all the public events and galas and all this stuff. Where are they now, and why are they silent? Have the people with the biggest platforms even been scared into silence by this administration? We need to start digging into that, because there will come a point where these people will come back and want support again. And so we have to answer for that time. We have to answer for this silence. Where were you? What are you thinking? What are you doing? What are we putting in place? We got a lot of people, as the lady from the cereal commercial says, with the government shutdown, we got to feed America. And so, shit, we really do at this point. And so just a few things to think on. But don't think on them right now. Put a pin in everything I just said. And I want you to, if you're going out, I want you to go out, have a good time, be safe, be responsible. If you plan on drinking, do not drive. that is very careless, and usually the drunk driver survives, and you usually end up taking the life of someone innocent. So be very responsible, be very careful, keep your head on a swivel, because this is not regular Halloween. This is Trump Halloween with ice, and this sounds like Ghetto Boys, Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Like, this is one of those Halloweens. If you've heard that song, you know how that goes. So gooseneck. Anyway. But yeah, so put a pin in that right now, but have fun. Have fun, enjoy it. If you're gonna stay in and binge some shows, whatever you do, just have fun. As I always say, be kind to one another. Shit's hard right now. If you don't have to be an asshole, choose not to be an asshole. Put the asshole on ice. Oh, put the asshole on ice. That's wild. Okay, so I'm gonna go have a good Halloween, and I want you all to do the same. And I will talk to you later, tribe. Take care of each other and be kind. Okay? It's Barbie, bitch. I was going to do that. Well, I do that around my friends. But anyway, I'm doing it on the show for you now. I love you, Nikki. I love you, Samuel L. Jackson.